Chomp, chomp, chomp. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Unlimited podcast here on the Unlimited YouTube channel. I'm Matt from Unlimited, being joined as always by my good friend Tyler Harper. Tyler, how you doing tonight? Hello.
You were frozen.
Oh, Tyler, how you doing tonight?
Oh, hi. I'm good. I'm glad to be here as always. It's always fun to talk sports, especially baseball with you, and especially because this off season, we've kind of known for years that this off season was going to be one of the craziest, and even so far, before a lot of these names find homes and all the drama unfolds, there's a lot of drama like already building up. So I think this off season very well could live up to the hype that it's going to get as possibly one of the craziest ever.
Yeah, definitely. I even remember last off season, and looking at the talent, it wasn't as loaded, it wasn't as stacked as this year. And even last year, I was kind of like, I'm excited for this off season, but I'm really excited for next off season. And here we are, another year of baseball in the books. And now we look forward to all the exciting moves, trades, whenever they may happen. Because remember last year, most of the trades and all the stuff didn't happen until like January, February. There was spring training signings.
Yeah, a lot of guys held out and showed up late. I mean, obviously, if we have regulars know that I'm a Phillies fan. Jake Arrieta didn't sign until about halfway through spring training. Mike Moustakas re-signing a one-year deal with the Royals, which was kind of weird, but then he gets traded to the Brewers.
It kind of went where there was work.
Yeah, at that point, it was just kind of like, all right, fine. Like, I'll keep putting my numbers up, keep making myself trade bait. So,
I was gonna say increasing that trade value.
Mm-hmm. But I think this time, and how convenient too that these winter meetings that are coming up in a few weeks are going to be taking place in where else? Gambling capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada. So all these teams bringing all their chips and getting ready to spend that big money and hope they hit that jackpot.
We'll see. It's going to be a fun one for sure.
Oh, boy.
We have a lot of names, and by a lot, I mean a lot. So we're going to try to...
And that doesn't even cover the trade rumors.
We're going to try to move through all of these as quickly as possible so this isn't a 7-hour podcast. We have a lot of what we were talking about off camera a little bit. A lot of second basemen and outfielders, a lot of key quality starters, and then just kind of everyone else. And
there's really big value names at pretty much every position too. So
yeah,
really teams that are in the market for anything, like whether it's relief pitching, whether it's third baseman, a DH or two, a utility guy, guess what? Odds are you're going to be able to find what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I think from free agency, the only position that's really not out there is first base.
Which is weird because normally there's a big money first baseman or two.
Yeah, I mean, last year you had Eric Hosmer as one of them. A couple of key first basemen on the trade block or in trade rumors.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that as they come. But why not start it off with the starting pitcher? We have a couple of key quality starting pitchers. First one that comes to mind is former Philly and most recently a Houston Astro, Charlie Morton, who over the past couple years has seemed to redevelop himself a little bit and get back into good shape.
2017 World Series hero, Charlie Morton.
This is true. Last year he went, I believe, 15-3. 3.13 ERA and 30 starts. He had over 200 strikeouts, which was a career high, and he did all of this at the age of 35. So he's already up there in age, and
at the back of that rotation.
Yeah, this is true. I don't know. Where do you see him going?
I'm kind of glad you started with Charlie Morton because I have an interesting destination for this first one. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
The Colorado Rockies.
I was not expecting that.
I know. Neither was I, but I'm like, you know what? He kind of fits because I know, as the saying goes, and it makes sense, if there was like a Clayton Kershaw pitcher ever to hit the free agent market, the Colorado Rockies would immediately count themselves out because, I mean, everybody knows it's Colorado. The air's thin, the ball flies. Nobody needs that explained to them. But what's interesting about the Rockies is last year, a bright spot for them for a while was their young pitching staff that was making, and they were pitching well at home. They were making Coors Field their bandbox. Yeah, obviously you're going to give up bombs. It's going to happen. Every pitcher does it everywhere. But it wasn't the, oh my God, the sky is falling. The Rockies need to get pitching. It was like, no, like these guys, like, yeah, there's no like ace, but guess what? They've got 3 or 4 solid young guys that are carrying the mantle, and they're like under pitching extraordinaire manager Bud Black, who was a Manager of the Year finalist, who I think gets a lot of credit as he should. So if Charlie Morton were to get there, he doesn't have to be the ace. He doesn't even necessarily have to be 2, but he could be 3, 4. He could kind of be that quote-unquote veteran mentor because, wow, I remember when Charlie Morton was first coming up. But now him being slotted as that mentor in this rotation towards the back, if he just goes and does his thing, I think this could be a great signing for Colorado.
I was not expecting that, but I completely agree, honestly. It's funny that we mentioned, or that I mentioned earlier, that he is a former Philly. Well, the destination I have him going to is Philly. Obviously you have Aaron Nola there and you have Arrieta there, but he could be a perfect guy at the back end of the rotation. He was once a Philly. Why not go back there now, especially since his career is rejuvenated? He could be a real big asset to that rotation.
I see your logic, and I don't hate it. Couple things. One, this wasn't his fault, but he was barely a Philly because he had a couple starts, and then he just got hurt and was out for the rest of the year. So, I mean, obviously, that's luck of the draw as a pitcher. It seems like that happens to mostly everybody nowadays. So, but it's good to see him rejuvenated. My main quote-unquote gripe with Charlie Morton coming to Philly is he's not left-handed. The Phillies desperately need a left-handed starter.
I think I know where you're going to go with this.
Maybe not, because a certain lefty I think is going to end up in the Bronx. But
all right, that's not the lefty I was talking about. But all right.
Well, yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah. So I think the Phillies are going to go more for a left-handed guy to be a 1A or a number 2 behind Aaron Nola and maybe in front of Jake Arrieta. But I mean, if Charlie Morton were to come back here, I wouldn't hate it because he has rejuvenated his career, and it'd be nice to kind of see him come back and quote-unquote redeem himself in Philadelphia because he never got the wheels going. Because if he's healthy that season, who knows? Maybe he becomes what he is now in Philadelphia. So, again, if Charlie Morton was to come here, hey, I wouldn't hate it.
Fair enough. Speaking of left-handed pitchers, and no, I'm not going to jump straight into the one you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go a little out there with J.A. Happ.
Am I starting this one too?
Go ahead. If you want, sure. Wow. All right.
Yeah, for those of you who didn't see our last show, I pulled out my Homer hat a couple times, and yes, it's going to be out a couple times on this very show, so spoiler alert. And speaking of spoiler alert, I know a little later we're going to talk about Patrick Corbin. I can't see Patrick Corbin not going to the Bronx because I know Patrick Corbin. I know he was at Citizens Bank Park yesterday. He was at Nationals Park today. He's doing his roundabouts. But the dude's from upstate New York, born and raised a Yankees fan. And the Yankees want to spend that green and revitalize that rotation. They already traded and got James Paxton. Why wouldn't they go full bore and get Patrick Corbin as well? So I think the next best lefty option for the Phillies is former Philly and now pretty much old reliable J. Happ. a guy who also has kind of revitalized his career ever since he left Philadelphia. He got traded. He kind of bounced around a little bit, but up in Toronto the past couple of years, and then when he got traded to the Yankees, I think he did okay. He kind of stalled a little bit. I don't have the numbers up in front of me, but in Toronto for a while, he was pretty successful. He's not an overpowering guy, but he'll get guys to pop up. He'll get some guys to swing and miss. He's just a very much kind of straight and narrow, steady as you get. A left-hander, yeah, perfect innings eater as well. Like, again, he's not gonna put up a Max Scherzer 14 strikeout 1-run performance, but he's gonna get the job done. So, if Patrick Corbin doesn't end up coming here, I think J Happ would be the lefty I think J Happ would be the former Philly to quote unquote come home, because he was drafted by the Phillies, I believe so. Because he was a homegrown product, came up through the Philly system, so I wouldn't hate that. I think it would make sense.
Seems like every pitcher revitalizes their career when they leave Philly, is what Jake said.
Not wrong. Although Cole Hamels was kind of off the beaten path.
I say the same thing about every hitter that leaves the Mets.
Well, that's because of the 2 ballparks in New York. Yours is the one that's pitcher-friendly.
Well, speaking of which, I actually have J.A. Happ going to the Mets.
But our rotation is set.
I said the front end of the rotation is set, but let's be completely honest here. They can't ride with Steven Matz this long. He's just not good. And Jason Vargas is a complete mess. They need a left-handed pitcher badly. And why not get a guy that can, like we said earlier, eat a lot of innings? He's been relatively healthy. Of course, that can be a curse when you go to the Mets. But regardless, why not? And we'll get to Syndergaard later, but I think that they should be adding to their rotation now, not getting rid of people. And J.A. Happ can be a great addition.
Like you said, we'll get the Syndergaard a little later, so I'll make my point.
He'll come on the cheap, too, because, again, he's not going to give you the numbers. Like, he'll give you a lot of wins and a lot of innings. But he's not going to give you the flashy 250, 300 strikeouts. He's going to give you himself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could see J.A. Happ going to the Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird. I never thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
Here's kind of an oddball one. Nathan Eovaldi.
This is one of the ones that I didn't really have a destination down yet.
Me neither.
Just because, I mean, really, he could go anywhere. Speaking of World Series heroes, Nathan Eovaldi, despite the fact that they lost that Marathon World Series game, Nathan Eovaldi came in and was lights out for, was it 9 innings or close to it?
I think it was close to it. Yeah.
But to come in cold from the bullpen and do that in a World Series game where, I won't say all eyes are on you because a lot of people were asleep at that point, but where the world is watching and you look at the stat line and you're like, yeah, he got the loss, but damn, Nathan Eovaldi pitched nearly a full game out of the bullpen and kept his team in it. So this is another guy who came up with the Marlins, bounced off the beaten path a little bit, bounced around. People thought he was going to be the next big thing. Maybe he can go somewhere and start to mold into something. I was
going to say, he's a guy who had some injuries. But even with all those injuries, he still has the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only 29.
Yeah, maybe like a Milwaukee or something like that. I have Milwaukee a little later too for another starter, but Milwaukee, for the past couple of years when they've made these playoff pushes, we've said they could use some starting pitching. I think Nathan Eovaldi could go up there and fit into that Brewers culture. It's not really a big market. That team is big there, but it's not like in New York. It's not a Boston where he ironically shined. It's not a Los Angeles. So it's somewhere where he can kind of fly under the radar and still put up that good numbers and help out. So I guess that's my pick, but who knows?
Yeah, I actually, when I was making my list, I actually was looking on MLB trade rumors, the list of all the free agents that they had, and the destination they had was just going back to the Red Sox. I can see it, but they also said that he gets a 4-year deal and $60 million. I don't see that.
I don't see that at all.
I think the Brewers are a good destination, especially for a good short-term deal, maybe like a 2-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
15, 20 million, maybe less than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely get your point. He'd be a good fit there too. Trying to think if there's another team, but because I don't really have a set team for him yet. He's one of the wild card guys. Cleveland Indians?
Well, I mean, we'll talk about them a little later because, I mean, if they're willing to sell one of their – I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, because if their rumors are true and they're willing to sell like Corey Kluber or Carlos Carrasco, then maybe you sign a Nathan Eovaldi to step in and be the next man up.
Yeah, because I can't really think of a set spot for him. But I do have a set spot for this next left-handed former Cy Young winner, Dallas Keuchel.
Dallas Keuchel.
What do you have?
This was the guy who I had Milwaukee for.
Honestly, I do too. We both have the Brewers.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because, I mean, for all the reasons we said for Nathan Eovaldi, and I want Dallas Keuchel to succeed. I really do. Because, like, when he won the Cy Young in 2015, he left no doubt, you know? Like, but then, like, did he have, like, Tommy John or just some kind of, like, shoulder surgery or something like that?
Some sort of a shoulder injury. I don't think it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't a serious one, though. It wasn't that serious.
Yeah, but when he came back, he wasn't really the same. And, like, there were times where he would still be decent last year, but then there would be times where he'd give up 6 earned runs, and you're like, who is the real Dallas Keuchel? So, he's a likable guy. I mean, everybody kind of laughs at his facial hair. He's kind of I'll say a goofy guy. Like, he's not like an outright weird guy. Like, he's not like a Joey Votto who makes quips. Like,
I freaking love Joey Votto.
Oh, same. Who doesn't? Like, he's not like a Josh Reddick who dresses up like the Ultimate Warrior and runs around in Oakland.
When Josh Reddick ran from the bullpen as the Ultimate Warrior, that was classic.
For an interview on Intentional Talk.
Yeah, not even for a game.
So, but he's still like he's a very personable, likable guy. He's got the cool facial hair that John Axford had in Milwaukee once upon a time. So I think he could fit in there. I think he could fit into that culture. And I think if he becomes the Dallas Keuchel of old or some shade of that, guess what? Milwaukee's found their ace.
I agree. Next starter is also a lefty, and you already talked about it.
Come on.
Let me just say, Patrick Corbin, 3, 2, 1.
Yankees.
What kind of deal do you think he gets?
Doesn't matter.
It does.
He might get like a 3-year deal because CC Sabathia can't stay there forever.
I was stunned when they re-signed him.
They also re-signed your favorite, Brett Gardner.
I was stunned when they honestly, like, why?
Well, I think they're keeping him around as kind of like a 4th outfielder kind of thing.
But you have Jacoby Ellsbury.
We'll get to that. But I mean, come on. If you're the Yankees, this is a no-brainer. I think Sonny Gray's going to be trade bait somewhere. So, I mean, you shoot your rotation in the arm with 2 power lefties and James Paxton and Patrick Corbin. You have Severino, who, at least for the first half of the year, was a Cy Young candidate, my pick after the first half, and then he crashed and burned.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, by the way, they still have Masahiro Tanaka, so if he's your number 4, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
So this feels like a slam dunk to me.
Yeah, I think it's obvious at this point. I mean, yeah, he's doing all these meetings with Phillies and the Nationals. And
you got to do your due diligence, man, and good on him.
apparently he's supposed to be meeting with the Mets. That's not happening. Yeah, he just screams Yankee because he's, I don't know if I would say easily the best guy up there, but he would be by default. And they go for the best, so they're gonna get the best. And if he's the best, then they're gonna get him. So
yeah.
All right. So that wraps the starters. And now we're gonna do a little bit of rapid fire. So I have prepared to you 5 names. Some of them are free agents, some of them are trade targets. Not gonna tell you when they're gonna come up, but they're gonna.
I like this as a mystery bag.
And you're just gonna say, we're not gonna say anything else, no explanations, just the team they're gonna go to.
You really think we're not gonna be able to say explanations?
Not at all.
Okay, good.
All right. I'm gonna start with free agent relief pitcher, unfortunately former Met, Jerry Familia.
God,
My thoughts exactly.
Can I come back to this one? Because, like, relievers, like, they could go anywhere.
True.
Like, I know that's a cop-out, and for some of the bigger name relievers, although I think the biggest name reliever, I don't have a home for, because I'm not sure where he could go.
Like Craig Kimbrell?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have one home for him.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about that a little later.
No, not the Mets.
Yeah. But, like, because relievers could go anywhere for any amount of money almost, you know? Like, they could go to a team that's on the rise. So, I mean...
how Cecil got 4 years and $40 million from the Cardinals.
Yes, he did. So, like... I'm going to cop out and say I don't know on Familia, so there's your rapid fire.
Okay. Trade bait starting pitcher Noah Syndergaard.
Pack your bags, you're going to San Diego, baby. See, this one we're going to talk about because I know you have opinions. I know you are, like you said earlier, you are anti-trade Syndergaard. You think that you need to build up the rotation. Here is my counter to that. Look around the rest of the diamond. Not exactly star talent. Because, yeah, we have Cespedes. When is he healthy?
But they still have enough in the minors to trade. That's my point, though.
Yes, but see, if you could somehow get, like, good... I mean, I know right now reports are that they're going to hold on to him, but if you could get someone like a Fernando Tatis Jr. and Austin Hedges...
I'm sorry, is not happening.
Who knows? I'm just saying, like, if you have a chance to really shoot your team in the arm and get fresh young talent, spread the wealth, you know, yeah, it's going to suck losing that guy, but here's my theory, my fear if I'm a Mets fan as well with Noah Syndergaard. Yeah, you could hold on to him and hope he comes back into Cy Young form and he and DeGrom could be a powerful 1-2 punch again. But if the rest of the diamond around you isn't great, does it matter? The answer could be no.
I agree with that.
Their trade bait anyway, and I brought this up to you earlier. Maybe you thought I was joking. Maybe you thought I was serious. I was being very serious. What if you hold on to Syndergaard and, oh, hey, one of these random arm issues or hand issues comes up again, and he's out for 2.5 months during the season again.
Or he gets hand-foot and mouth disease again.
Did you see the tweet when he was sitting in the crowd at the Little League World Series game, or at the game in Williamsport against the Phillies? Yeah. That's awesome. I feel bad for the kid, but that's awesome. But,
you know, it was funny, and a lot of some people got mad at me for this. I'm like, that is the most Mets thing that can happen to a pitcher. Or
that, but it's funny that he said it to the kid. Like, but my point is, if you hold on to him and he gets hurt and he's out for months again, guess what, buddy? Your team is in New York. Those fans are not quiet. I would know. It's the Northeast. I get it. But, like, if you hold on to him, especially when his name is on the hot stove churning and burning right now, if you don't get rid of him and he's out for a few months again, oh boy, the scrutiny. Mike Francesa is going to make so much money on his app just because people are going to call him to whine and cry about the Mets. Because if you have a chance to restock your not only your farm system, but your team, major league team for years to come. I get it. When he's healthy and he's on, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's a force to be reckoned with. I get it. But if you have a chance to shoot your franchise in the arm and still have the Cy Young Award winner, I think you got to take that chance. So, I mean, right now, that obviously the team that everyone's talking about is the Padres. Why not?
Fair enough.
And again, I get all of your reasons for trying to keep him, like, because, I mean, obviously, when you made the World Series in 2015, you made it on the backs of those guys in the rotation. I get it. But from a Phillies fan who's been burned by teams, like, doing stuff like this before, holding on the guys too long, and then they get hurt and lose value or whatever, I don't know. If I was the Mets GM, I'd negotiate long and hard to get the guys I'd wanted, but then I would make that deal.
All right.
Be it with the Padres or whoever. Especially because there are good, solid names that you could sign in free agency to help out your rotation too. So that way, DeGrom's your number one. You can get another guy or two to help fill out a roster, and then boom, there you go.
Long off season. Here's one, a weird one, and he was actually linked to the Mets. Martin Maldonado.
Catching extraordinaire Martin Maldonado?
And hitting expert, apparently.
Why am I thinking Tampa Bay?
Screw it.
Yeah, that's the point I'm at, because, like, I mean, we'll get to the two big name catchers in a little bit that are out there. But Martin Maldonado, he can go somewhere. I mean, maybe like a Minnesota or something too. Like, I don't know.
He's just kind of one of those guys that's just going to go somewhere.
Yeah, and he'll put up good numbers.
We're going to forget he existed.
Again.
Yeah. There's been talks about Paul Goldschmidt getting traded. Do you see it happening? Oh my God.
So the rumor is
not everyone can go to the Phillies.
I'm not saying that he's going to the Phillies. That's why I'm just holding it up, because the rumor is apparently the Phillies were close to a deal.
Yeah.
Close to a deal for Paul Goldschmidt. There were no rumors about this in Philadelphia before this story came out. But apparently talks stalled. I don't know if they're completely dead, but apparently talks stalled when the Phillies tried to throw Carlos Santana into the deal.
Wow.
Which, I mean, I kind of get, because, I mean, if the Diamondbacks are trying to unload and reload, why would they need Carlos Santana? I mean, yeah, he could be their first baseman as a replacement, and I like Carlos Santana, but he signed for, I forget how many years, and I forget how much money left.
I think it's 4 years. I forgot.
Yeah. Which, again, like, I didn't hate making that deal last offseason, because, again, I like Carlos Santana. I think he's reliable. But I don't know if you're going to be able to sneak him into that deal. I mean, I know the question then is, if you can't fit him in there, where do you put him? Or maybe you could trade him to somewhere else. Maybe a team that needs a DH, because he'd be a great DH. Or, I mean, maybe you give him some starts at third base, because he had some starts towards the end of the year at third base, and guess what? He actually wasn't that bad.
I mean, you could always go back to him being a catcher.
No, we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, maybe if you're able to pull off this trade, maybe you could send Santana somewhere that, again, could use a DH. Maybe you can get like a prospect or something for him, just to try to
get like a reliever back for him.
That too, just something to try to reload. But when that report came out that the Phillies were apparently close to landing Paul Goldschmidt in a trade, I was stunned. I was floored, but I would welcome it with open arms, because, I mean, if you say consistent in baseball, and one of the first names that pops into my head is Paul Goldschmidt, he's a guy who is a big star. He's an all-star, an MVP candidate normally, but for some reason, doesn't get the recognition he deserves.
No, not at all.
And he's always a steal in fantasy baseball, too, because not only is he going to hit you like close to 25, 30 bombs, he'll steal you 20 bags, too.
And he'll hit 280, 290.
Mm-hmm.
Even more.
And he'll look good doing it.
Yeah.
So, like, if Paul Goldschmidt was a New York Yankee, and I know you have thoughts on that.
DH, I'm just kidding. They're not moving Stanton.
Yeah, but like he'd be getting so much more mainstream media coverage, but since he's just out there in Arizona, it's just, oh, hey, there's Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah, he's having a nice, good year. Yeah, he's an MVP candidate. He's another, like, what, 7-time All-Star, yada, yada, yada. But, like, it's just, oh, hey, there's Paul Goldschmidt, you know? Kind of like, I mean, aside from the antics, oh, hey, it's Joey Votto, you know?
Yeah. What was the next name I had? Hold on. Oh, Garrett Richards. Who is a free agent?
He's a free agent?
Yes. I'm actually gonna answer this one because I've been avoiding answering the rapid fire questions. I honestly think he stays a free agent until like the season starts.
Until an arm goes down in spring training?
Exactly.
I could see him going to Tampa Bay. That seems to be the kind of a career like resurrecting spot.
Yeah.
Weirdly for pitchers, but I mean it happened. Like, because I mean, why not? I mean, Kevin Cash is an outside the box thinker. He's a good manager. People like playing for him. Oh, hey, the AL Cy Young Award winner is there, which props to the writers for getting that one right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I could see Garrett Richards signing with Tampa Bay.
I could see him. He'll be a late signer, but I can see him going to Tampa. I can also see him going to maybe like the White Sox, like just somewhere where he has a job.
Yeah, especially considering they need pitching since Michael Kopech is going to be out with Tommy since he got Tommy John.
Yeah, I mean, and Lucas Giolito has just not worked. He's not worked out for them. He had what did he have, like a 6 ERA this year?
Yeah, he got hit around a lot. And like I hope Garrett Richards can go somewhere and resurrect himself because like I wanted him to be good in LA. He had that 1 year where he was dominant in the Angel system, and then he just kept getting hurt, could never get healthy, would get back on the mound, and would just be kind of a shell of himself. I want him to go somewhere and succeed, and I think maybe somewhere like a Tampa Bay or hell, I mean, we talked about pitching guru Bud Black earlier. Maybe he goes to Colorado and is the 5th starter. I know that's not an ideal destination as a pitcher, as we covered earlier, but
it might just be something he just winds up doing.
Yeah, and again, like Bud Black knows how to handle pitchers because he was one. So I mean, I could see Bud Black working his magic.
All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Let's move on to the infield, and let's first start with the only two big name catchers that are available. First, let's start with catcher Yasmani Grandal.
Hold on.
He was actually a tough one for me, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
There are teams that need catchers, the Mets being one of them. I honestly see him going back to the Dodgers.
I don't. I'll get to my pick in a sec, but I don't just because there's rumors that the Dodgers are going to try to trade for Grandal. I mean, JT Realmuto.
Wow.
You know what I meant.
Trade for the free agent, huh?
Yeah, shut up. I think the Dodgers might end up trading for JT Realmuto. Yes, maybe that means you send Puig to Miami, which finally puts those rumors of 3 years to bed. Maybe, I mean, Cody Bellinger's name has been brought up in those kinds of talks. Maybe you move a Cody Bellinger down there, which Miami. I mean, if you're the Marlins,
I'm sorry to cut you off. Do they have a GM now? Because I know that their GM went to San Francisco.
I just assume Derek Jeter runs the show.
No, the Dodgers.
Oh, I just assume Derek Jeter runs the show. I don't know.
As long as there are baseball teams, Derek Jeter runs the show.
Yeah, Jeets. Anyway, I honestly couldn't tell you, but I mean, and there I kind of just assume that Magic Johnson runs things too, because like he's always there, so I'm sure he has some say, or tries to at least. But yeah, I don't see him going back to the Dodgers. And honestly, I think the Dodgers are going to want to burn any tapes of him catching in that World Series.
Let's just forget this happened. Just go on.
So it wouldn't surprise me if the Dodgers pull off a deal for JT Realmuto. So where do I have Yasmani Grandal going? Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up.
I don't see
the Mets.
I don't see it. He'd be a good fit, but I don't see it.
I know, because I know. But I mean, hey, Sandy Alderson ain't there anymore, bud. So maybe the thinking's changed. But
I've been saying that for years.
Well, yeah, but now he's actually gone.
We still have the same owners.
Yeah, but I mean, the GM.
As long as those owners are there, nothing is going to change.
Maybe we'll see. But I mean, like you said, they have a need at catcher and a switch hitting power our catcher named Yasmani Grandal. Yeah, I mean, why not? Again, spend the money on him. He can be a consistent force in that offense with Todd Frazier. Because let's face it, Cespedes ain't going to be healthy. So,
wouldn't be surprised if he missed the whole year.
Which is a shame because as weird as it is as a Phillies fan, I like Yoenis Cespedes. But you know, I love the neon green sleeve. I guess I don't know. But I mean, hey, I could see it. I think it'd be interesting.
That's the wrong screen. Hang on.
Yeah.
There we go. I have so many screens up.
Yeah, I know.
Let's get to the other catcher, and I have an interesting destination for him, and that's Wilson Ramos. Unless you have one first, or you want me to go first?
He's staying put. The Phillies. I like Jorge Alfaro. I like him defensively. He can gun people down. But I mean, we tried running with Jorge Alfaro and Andrew Knapp as our starting catching tandem for the first half of this past season. It didn't work. It just did not work. So because catchers are limited in this free agent market, and because the Nationals took Kurt Suzuki off the market, and a lot of people were wondering if Ramos was going to try to go back up to Washington.
Funny, I almost put him on the list.
Kurt Suzuki?
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot the Nats signed him.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
I'm amazed you didn't put Josh Donaldson on the list.
I was close because, like I said, I was looking at that free agent list on Trade Rumors.
Which, can we talk about that after we're done with Wilson Ramos for a sec? Because we need to show some light on that. But,
sure.
But yeah, so because of that, I think the Phillies can say to Wilson, hey, like, look, we're close. We might be bringing in a guy like Bryce Harper, big name free agents to help make this team a lot better. And you're the best or one of the best hitting catchers on the market. So let's bring you in. It could be a 1 or 2 year deal. Hell, it could be a 1 year deal, you know, like stay here, continue to help mentor Jorge Alfaro, continue to try to carry that load. We'll switch him out. We'll switch you out for Jorge a decent amount because Wilson Ramos unfortunately does get injury prone, which sucks. But when he's in, he can have an impact. So I think he stays in Philadelphia for at least a little while longer.
Okay. I have him going to the Red Sox. They've needed a catcher since Veritek. It's been that bad up there.
I mean, they've gotten a couple rings since then, though.
They have, but the catcher was always their weak spot. It still is. And why not roll with him? I know he's injury prone. That's probably not somebody that you want as a defending champion. But if the guy had the year he had last year and the year he had, 2015 or
somewhere around there?
Yeah. If they can get that Wilson Ramos, then I think that's a win for the Red Sox. He can fit right into their lineup. Even if you put him at the bottom, it's a great guy to have in there. So,
yeah.
You know, they've needed a catcher, like I said, since Veritek. I mean, they've had their Salties. They've had their Christian Vasquez's. They need a catcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him sliding right into Boston. Why not? Let's get to one of the more stacked positions.
Well, wait, can we talk about Donaldson?
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, what do you think? I'm curious as to what you think of this move because I don't hate it. I know it's a 1-year deal, but I mean, in Cleveland in those last few weeks, Josh Donaldson was kind of looking like the old Josh Donaldson. So if he goes there and he's the old Josh Donaldson along with the current Freddie Freeman, oh boy, the Braves just struck gold.
I mean, if it's what did they get him for? It was 1 year and how much?
$23 million.
All right, I think they overpaid for him. But you know what? Why not? It just adds a veteran guy to to a young team.
Mm-hmm.
You lost Nick Markakis. You're probably not going to get him back. But we'll get to that soon. Why not add a veteran? You also added Brian McCann. So, yeah, I like the move from a veteran standpoint, just to have him there. But yeah, if he can come back as the MVP, Josh Donaldson, why not?
Yeah.
I know it's a new league, new pitching, but it could work. He could fit right in there. Could be a nice, some protection for Freeman. Why not?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm looking up something.
Yeah, no problem. So let's talk about some second basemen. And we'll start first with DJ LeMahieu. Now, I honestly forgot he was going to be a free agent. And he's kind of a guy that gets forgotten often.
Which is a shame because he's Mr. Consistent. He won a batting title a couple years ago.
I was going to say, he was former batting champion. Last year he missed time with injuries, but he still has a great glove. It's consistent with the bat. And even take Coors Field out of it, whatever. He's a guy that can hit. So
yeah.
Where do I have him going? I have him going to the Cubs.
Not a bad option.
Because Jake just said DJ no, sad face. Well, he's not going to the Rockies. I'm sorry. But yeah, I can see him going to the Cubs. Let's see. Then you'd have Bryant at third, Baez short, LeMahieu second, Rizzo first.
Yeah,
that's a great infield right there.
Mm.
You could just slot Ben Zobrist in somewhere else.
He could be your utility guy off the bench. He could be your Marwin Gonzalez.
Yeah. And he's got a good glove at second base, but I think he's played some shortstop before.
Yeah.
So you can try him out different positions. He can play in the infield.
Mm-hmm.
He strikes me as a Cub. I don't know why. He just does.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, your boyfriend's gonna like me a lot because I have him staying in Colorado. I think he likes it there. I think he fits there. I think he's a good top of the lineup guy to be there. And I mean, Coors Field is hitter's heaven. And I mean, whenever you have guys like Nolan Arenado and Charlie Blackmon in your lineup, you're gonna compete. So if he could stay there and get back to his old self, be healthy, be hitting well at the top of that lineup, I wouldn't want to leave.
No, I wouldn't either.
I mean, who knows if the Rockies actually want him back? But I mean, if I'm the Rockies, I say, you know what? He's reliable. We could probably get him on the cheap. Let's do it.
Yeah, because from what I looked at the depth chart earlier. It looks like they're just going to shift a first baseman out to play second base, which is
Ryan McMahon.
Yeah, I don't get it. But yeah, I could see him staying put too. I think fits well with the ballpark. He's a great, good leadoff guy.
Mm-hmm.
So, that could be a good option too. Next is cool. Weirdly enough, the former Cub, Daniel Murphy.
I don't know where Daniel Murphy ends up.
Me neither. I'm glad
Honestly,
I'm not the only one.
I don't know if they would do it, but you think he might come back to either one of his former homes, Washington or New York? They both need second baseman.
The Mets don't. Jeff McNeil, baby.
Oh, Jesus Christ. They need a second baseman.
No, they don't. Look at Jeff McNeil. Dude, I'm not kidding, though. Jeff McNeil did hit like over 300, so,
Yeah.
trot him out there.
But I mean, I could see him going back to either place though. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Mike Rizzo says, "Hey, member."
I was gonna say I see him going back to the Mets more than I do the Nationals.
Yeah.
Even if he's not the second baseman, all right. If you don't call up Peter Alonso, which they will, they have to. He can play first base. If you're not confident with Todd Frazier, as you shouldn't be, he can play third base. And he's played outfield before too, so it's not like you can put him nowhere. It's not like he's useless. Yeah, I see him going back to I can see him going back to the Mets, but again, I don't really have a definite spot for him.
Mm.
Maybe the Astros and put him at DH?
Yeah, but Tyler White got hot for them at the end, so I think they want to try him as their DH. Which
is funny because I have a certain DH linked to them later, but we'll see.
Whoever could it be?
the one DH available.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him maybe an Astro, maybe a Met, but I really don't know.
Yeah, because remember a couple years ago, he was one of the big hype names in this free agent class, kind of along with Machado and with Harper. So now he's not an afterthought, but he's kind of, where's Dana Murphy gonna go? Like,
sticking with second baseman, here's another guy where I honestly don't know, and that's Brian Dozier.
I have a destination for him.
Do you really?
The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. He's going back to Cali. But I mean, why not? They need a second baseman.
Specifically going back to the AL.
Well, yeah, but still, like, you could use him as DH if Ohtani's either pitching or like whatever. You could put him at second.
That's a big thing too. Like, what's gonna happen with that?
Yeah, it's a good question, but because right now on their depth chart, the Angels have Ohtani listed as the DH. So
we'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see Brian Dozier staying out in LA again. I wouldn't blame him just because A, weather, and B, like it's LA, like. But to be in but to be at like the kind of little brother team, because I mean, let's face it, when Brian Dozier shined, he shined in Minnesota of all places. You know, when he went out to LA, yeah, he had some big moments, but like he was just kind of a guy.
He was just there.
Yeah, like
everybody talked about Machado, and Dozier was just kind of.
Yeah. So I think if he were to go to the Angels, again, it's the lesser known team, but maybe if he can get back up to form and help Mike Trout carry that load, the Angels could show you something.
I could also see him going to the A's, especially if they're going to lose the next guy on the list. But again, I don't really have a spot for him.
Yeah,
he's just kind of one of those guys that's there. I put him up there I put him on the list because, you know, he's done some big things. He's had 40 home run seasons. You know, I'm just curious to see where he goes. I don't know where he goes.
Yeah.
Speaking of the guy they're losing, Jed Lowry.
Oh, am I supposed to talk?
Well, I don't know.
I was kind of quoting Moneyball there, but
had a career year last year. Kind of a rejuvenating year. But where do you think he goes? Because I have a destination for him.
So do I.
Oh, okay,
it's Oakland, California.
Oh, really? All right.
This is another just kind of a culture thing. Like, Jed Lowry is just the kind of guy that, like, I mean, he made his living in Cincinnati for so long, you know, which again is like, it's a big baseball market, obviously, but we know what the Reds have been for the past few years. So for Jed Lowry, like, it wouldn't surprise me if the Angels kind of play it safe and we're like, oh, hey, Jed Lowry, you know what? You had a career year. You're our guy. And Jed Lowry's like, you know what? I like it here. I'm your guy, you know? I could see it.
I'm being told by one of the viewers that Brian Dozier is done and won't play in 2019. I didn't hear anything about that. So let me go to the old Google for a sec. I don't see anything.
I think that's just his opinion.
Maybe. I don't know. But thanks, John.
Although apparently the Dodgers said that he played through a severe bone bruise.
Great.
So it's a possibility.
He goes nowhere.
But yeah, I think Jed Lowry just says, you know what, I'm comfortable here. I'll stay in Oakland.
Okay.
The A's aren't going to splurge on him, so.
I have him going to Colorado.
Not a bad choice.
What do you mean, thanks for not mentioning your name? I did mention your name. But yeah, Colorado. He's a gap hitter. That's a gap park.
Mm-hmm.
I think like even at the age of, I think he's 34 or 35 now.
Mm-hmm.
He'll get it done. Who knows? It's just an opinion, he said. Oh, so he's not injured. Wow. All right. Well, thanks for nothing. So we're done with second baseman. Let's move on to one of the two third basemen, Mike Moustakas, back on the market.
Moose.
That's the wrestling fan coming out on you.
I don't know where Moose goes.
I don't know.
Maybe he stays in Milwaukee?
I don't know. Because Travis Shaw.
Oh, I don't want him in Philadelphia. I'll tell you that much. Because yeah, he's lefty pop, but he strikes out a lot. And I know the strikeout is just kind of an out at this point, but at the same time, he'll get eaten alive.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know, honestly.
It's weird, right? Like,
yeah, I think we were kind of in the same position last year when
he's going to Kansas City.
Oh my God, 10-year deal coming right up.
Or hell, honestly, like, and this is just a thought. I don't know if I'm going with it, but like, maybe a team like a Baltimore just says, "Hey, come to our park." Like,
we need someone help us.
Pretty much. I mean, yeah, like, but other than that, I don't know. I don't think the Yankees want to spend money on him.
I don't think they didn't want to do that last year.
Exactly, and we all thought he would. Like, I remember predicting Mike Moustakas going to the New York Yankees.
You know what? I'm gonna say the Twins.
That might be a good destination for him,
and he could be the DH.
Because remember Miguel Sano?
Yeah, who got set down to single A last year?
He was at the Iron Pigs Park on a rehab assignment for a couple games last year, and dude, he looked good. I don't know what happened, but he clobbered the ball, he hit it, and it jumped. Like, I don't know what happened.
I just think it was the injuries. I know he had, what do you have, a hamstring injury or a quad injury, something like
that. I don't remember.
I really just think that the injuries slowed him down, and he should not be playing third base.
Yeah, he should kind of just be a DH.
DH or at least a first baseman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the only team I could see Moose going to is the Twins.
Or, actually, you know what wouldn't be a terrible destination for Moose since they just lost their third baseman? Well, I mean, they traded him away earlier, but Toronto.
Oh, what about Cleveland?
Well, I mean, where the hell are you going to play Jose Ramirez? Like,
I don't care.
I mean, yeah, you could play him at second. Like,
no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility.
DH, maybe.
True, maybe.
But yeah, I could see Toronto too. I don't really see him going to a contender. I see him signing another deal and then getting traded mid-season to a contender.
Yeah.
I don't see him going straight to a contender.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't rule out the Royals, I guess. Don't rule them out.
Nope.
And finally, our big name infielder, and by big, I mean really big, Manny Machado.
This was years in the making, folks.
Oh, God. He's pulling out the hat, isn't he?
Oh, no. I just meant no.
Oh, okay.
No, I meant just because, I mean, when you talked about this year for free agency, you talked about Machado and Harper. So, do you want to go first or do you want me?
I have him going to the Phillies. I really do.
I don't.
Okay. I want to hear yours because I'm curious.
Once you hear these reports, you kind of can't shake them. I've heard that Manny Machado wants to be a New York Yankee.
What a surprise.
I mean, talk about a heel turn, stepping on legs in the League Championship Series and World Series, not making any friends. Why wouldn't you go to the Bronx at that point? Hal's last name is Steinbrenner, and I think more and more he's growing impatient with, okay, like, we need to be the Yankees again. And
Right.
even though, like, a couple years ago they weren't out away from the World Series, and this past year they had a really good regular season, they made the postseason. It's not enough in New York, especially in the Bronx, because if George Steinbrenner was alive, if the season didn't end in a World Series ring, it was a failure, plain and simple. Didn't matter if you made it to the ALCS, didn't matter if you made it to the World Series. If you didn't finish the season with a ring on your finger, you failed, and Steinbrenner would let you know it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Hal's gonna obviously turn into that, but I think he and Brian Cashman are like, you know what? We're the Yankees, damn it! Like, we need to make that splash. We need to make sure everybody knows we're not messing around here.
No.
So, I mean, maybe this means he has to play third. Maybe this means he has to DH and Stanton has to stay in the outfield. Because, I mean, wait, how long is Didi out for?
He's out until at least like July.
Yeah, so, I mean, so in that case, you could place Machado at short. He'll be happy. He's playing shortstop. He's on the bright lights, big stage. It just makes sense. My stepdad keeps bringing up, but the luxury tax. I don't think they care.
I don't think they do either.
They're the New York Yankees.
I was going to say, when have they ever cared?
That's my point.
I mean, they took on Stanton's deal in a trade, but still.
Which, for nothing, by the way.
Yeah, they got him for, a bag of balls. They got him for nothing. To me, I could see him going to the Yankees too. I could see him because they've already talked about getting rid of Andujar, which is hilarious because I had him as their MVP this year because he had a great year, year. His defense was a little bit subpar, whatever. But I could see him coming in and playing short until Didi comes back, and then maybe move Didi to third.
Yeah,
or Machado to third. Either way, someone's getting moved.
Yeah.
I just think the Phillies makes the most sense because of their youth, and I think that he fits right into that because he's still so young. And they need a corner infielder, specifically a third baseman. Can use a shortstop. I just think it works, and they need a big bat. Like, I think that's the one thing they're missing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got Rhys Hoskins. It's a big bat.
But is he a star, though?
Oh, I think he is.
Okay.
I think he showed everybody in that home run derby that he might not be there yet, and I don't know if he'll be like a Bryce Harper or a Manny Machado, but I think he showed at that home run derby that, guess what? He's a star.
Okay. Yeah.
He knocked out Aguilar in the first round when he was the quote-unquote 8th seed. Which, I mean, I know it's the home run derby. Who really cares? But guess what? The guy puts up numbers, too.
Yeah.
He wasn't exactly what his pace was when he came up a couple years ago for that half of the season, but he was pretty damn close. He puts balls in the seats when it counts. He'll hit a lot of key doubles, too. For a guy who should be a first baseman, he's not a bad left fielder.
No.
And the guy's got a good personality, too. He's always an enjoyable guy. He always looks like he's having fun. when we talked about the late Jose Fernandez, we talked about how much we loved him because we loved that he loved. We looked at him when we pointed and said, that guy looks like he's having fun on a baseball diamond. Rhys Hoskins has fun on a baseball diamond. You could tell that dude has a good time and he enjoys the moment. So, I mean, is he like a Bryce Harper? Maybe not yet, but I think he is a star in this league.
Okay. Yeah, I had the pleasure of going to a Mets Phillies game and watch Rhys Hoskins go second deck.
Kick and hit, man.
Yeah. Here's a question from Josh. Who is a more attractive free agent, Machado or Harper?
A more attractive free agent. I think right now Harper, just because Machado again, like he's kind of embracing the bad guy routine right now. Because he gave that interview, he said he wasn't necessarily going to be Johnny Hustle, stepping on guys' legs. So I think everyone, or at least most people, would be happy adding Bryce Harper, whereas Machado, like a lot of people would raise a lot of eyebrows.
Okay. I would say Machado, just for the defensive aspect. He's an infielder. Harper's an outfielder, but it's just, he's been consistent with the bat, and he has got a hell of a glove. Mm-hmm. And I believe, is Harper younger than him, or is Machado younger than Harper?
I don't know.
You Googling this?
Bryce Harper is 26.
They're both 26.
And Machado is 26. Yeah, they were in the same damn draft class, weren't they?
I think so. I don't remember.
Yeah, because it went.
Harper was first.
Taillon was second, I think, and then Machado was third.
Also, and Josh brought up a good point, and that was actually the point I was going to bring up next. Machado, even though he's been injured before, he's stayed on the field more than Harper has.
Yeah, true.
That's also something to consider too. I mean, Harper, he already has knee problems, and he's only 26. Maybe that affects him down the road. So for more attractive free agent, I'll probably go Machado.
Okay.
This brings us to more rapid fire. Even though our rapid fire earlier wasn't really that rapid. But whatever. Starting with free agent, we're going to go relievers again. David Robertson.
So let me get this straight. He built up his reputation in New York. He leaves. He kind of flounders. Kind of gets good again. Goes back to New York. Why continue the cycle? He's staying a Yankee.
All right. Jose Abreu, because he's actually been linked to a trade, or linked to trade rumors, I should say.
With who?
Just in general. Just the White Sox are going to deal him. That's the rumor I'm hearing.
Oh, wow.
He is entering a contract year, so if they were going to trade him, now would be the good time. He's also 31.
He kind of strikes me as more of a deadline deal.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Because, he's kind of been just a guy the past few years, so, he'll still hit the ball a mile, but, yeah, I think if he gets hot enough around July, then teams will bite.
Okay. Also trade target, Robinson Cano.
Bum, bum, bum.
Which one?
Which one plays Frank Sinatra when they win?
I was kidding.
The rumor is that they're trying to swap bad contracts because sending Cano back to New York, sending Ellsbury to Seattle.
Poor guy.
How about poor city of Seattle?
Yeah. I was really upset when they said they were going to start rebuilding. I was like, why?
I think it's the right call.
I don't. I think they were a starting pitcher away, and there were about 7, 8, 9, 10 starting pitchers out there.
Yeah, but I think they have the pieces that they could build up their farm again rather quickly.
Okay.
Especially if they trade Segura. Is it Eduardo Nunez in the back of their bullpen?
Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz, that's right. My apologies.
Eduardo Nunez is an infielder.
That's right. I knew that name was right, but wrong.
He's actually been linked to a trade too, if a trade does happen.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think it would make sense for both clubs. Robbie Cano is loved in New York, so why not bring him back? And he'll probably be an all-star again because Yankees.
All right. Starting pitcher. Wait, where is it? Oh, Hyunjin Ryu.
He's a free agent.
Yeah, he is.
He's got a lot of injury problems. You know what? Maybe Minnesota would be a fit for him.
Okay.
There's my 2 cents.
All right. On last one, Wade Miley.
Wade Miley's always an interesting guy.
Yeah.
Where was he last again?
He's with the Brewers.
That's right. Oh, that's right. He was with the Brewers.
We had a great playoffs.
I wonder if he stays. That's all I got.
All right. Fair enough. It is rapid fire after all.
Mm-hmm.
So now we move on to we're actually reached the halfway point, which is weird. But we're about a little over an hour into this. We're going to try to go about 2 hours, but maybe a little bit more. Who knows?
Yeah.
But first, let me just say, this is the Unlimited Podcast. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you don't, leave a dislike. I like hearing all opinions. So if you have one, leave a comment. And if you want other people knowing about us, share this video. And if you want to see some of the other content that we have, plenty of it, Q&As, podcasts, everything. If you're a wrestling fan, plenty of wrestling stuff. Sports fan, plenty of sports stuff. There's just stuff for everyone.
Yep.
So let's move on to the outfielders. And I'm just going to go from like least important to most important. So let's start with Adam Jones.
You and I talked about this a little bit before we went on air. We both kind of didn't know. And then I remembered where he's from, and I'm like, you know what? This wouldn't be a bad coming home story. Adam Jones is a good guy, and this team probably could use all the help they can get, so maybe he starts for them. Maybe he's kind of a 4th outfielder in their rotation. I think Adam Jones goes to the San Diego Padres.
I could see.
Or he stays in Baltimore, because I think he just likes it in Baltimore, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to go home to San Diego. So I think both of those are 2 good fits.
The only other team I saw him going to is Arizona.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially if you're going to lose AJ Pollock, and we'll get to him in a few minutes.
Yeah.
You could be a good fallback option, but even though he's up there, a little bit up there in age. Who else? Oh, most underrated player in baseball, Nick Markakis.
I have Nick Markakis going to the Colorado Rockies.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, he's always been a steady bat, but last year he was garnering MVP attention, and rightfully so, because he's like, oh, I'm going to hit the ball over the fence now.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he was always a good doubles guy, but...
And he has a great glove.
Mm-hmm.
Glove, good arm.
Yeah, so honestly, I could see him going to Colorado. Why not? And
he's quietly racking up the hits.
Yes, he is.
So a perfect place to rack those up is Colorado. Especially if you're a doubles guy, that's a doubles park. So why not?
Yep.
I have him going to the Phillies.
Okay.
So, I mean, why not? Just have that veteran guy there. I mean, I know you have Carlos Santana. But if not for long, maybe.
Possibly. Allegedly.
I just think that if you're going to go for defense, your outfield has terrible defense. So why not get the one guy that can field a baseball cleanly, properly, awesome, Nick Markakis. Philadelphia Philly.
Nah. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like it, don't love it.
All right. Former MVP Andrew McCutchen. I honestly forgot he was a free agent.
I'm going to do this. I honestly couldn't tell you because, I mean, you talk about, how the mighty have fallen. Remember how Andrew McCutchen and the Evan Longoria were going to revitalize San Francisco?
And poor Evan Longoria is still there.
Yeah, so I don't know, man.
I don't know either. Maybe a reunion in Pittsburgh? Just to sign a guy to have him?
It's possible. I wouldn't hate it. I would like that story.
Maybe Washington?
Maybe. I honestly have no idea, man.
Yeah. Jake said Tampa. I mean, maybe?
If he's willing to play left field.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Kevin Kiermaier's got center field on lock, so.
Until he gets hurt again.
No comment.
Yeah. Yeah, he's, again, kind of one of those guys that, whatever happens, happens. We don't really have a spot for him.
Maybe like a Texas?
Maybe. Again, I don't.
Hitter's Park.
Oh, unless, you mentioned him playing left, or him being open to playing left field. Maybe Houston?
Maybe, yeah.
Because right now, the depth chart has Tony Kemp in left field, and I don't think that's going to last.
Yeah, that's true.
Josh said DC outfield is Robles time. Oh, God. It's weird. They have like star outfielder after star outfielder. It's like Harper leaves and then Robles comes up. And then Robles will leave and then like they'll get Mike Trout or something. I don't know. Who's next? Hold on. Another guy that's been struggling with injuries over the past few years was injured again this past season. Diamondbacks, AJ Pollock.
This is another one where I don't know because I like AJ Pollock. I don't see where he ends up.
I just have him going back to the D-backs.
I wouldn't hate it.
It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could just skip this one.
Yeah.
Getting to the next outfielder, Michael Brantley.
I have Michael Brantley going to the Washington Nationals. Because I think
go ahead, I'm sorry.
Because I think number 34 is leaving Washington. So, I mean, yes, you do have Robles coming up. I think you get him involved. And yes, I think you want to hope that Juan Soto is the Juan Soto of this past year and that he's not going to hit a sophomore slump. But, I mean, this could give you some security because he finally got healthy last year, and for the most part, he was reliable.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, he's not star power Bryce Harper, but he could be a reliable piece, kind of like what Adam Eaton is now in your outfield.
Yeah. I have him going to the same division. I have him going to Atlanta. Will he play left field? No. Ronald Acuna has that on lock.
Yeah.
But he can easily slot right in right field, especially if you're going to lose Markakis.
Yeah.
Inciarte, Acuna, Brantley, solid outfield.
Yeah.
Gosh, but Robles time. Dump Taylor.
Huh. And I mean, if the Braves, if they were to get Brantley along with McCann and Donaldson, it's not a bad little trifecta of signings.
No, not at all. And finally, my God, finally.
Oh, dear Lord.
We get to Yoenis Cespedes. I'm just kidding. Bryce Harper.
Harper's bizarre, as Scott Boras called it. Before we say where we think he's going to go, do you think he gets over $400 million?
Absolutely not.
I think he gets close, but I don't think he gets it.
300, yes, maybe like 320, 325.
That sounds right. Maybe even a little more.
I don't think he should. I think he gets like a 200 or should get a $200 million deal.
Yeah, but you got to remember too, he's one of the faces of the game, you know?
Yeah, true.
Like even if he's like for the most part he is on. I mean, obviously 2015 was 2015 and maybe that was just him at his I don't want to say peak because he is still so young, but you know what I mean? So I think he'll come close to 400 million. But yeah, like you said, I don't think he'll get it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Scott Boras is going to try, but
Harper 3 years, 110 million, says Josh. Yeah, because he actually mentioned him going back to the Nats. I don't see it.
I think that bridge is burned.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just because, like, I mean, not only because he apparently rejected that mega offer they gave him.
Yeah, you can tell like he clearly does not want to be there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that he doesn't want to be there, but I think it's just he sees the writing on the wall because
I was gonna say, like, he knows that if he stays there, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, and like when he got interviewed at the end of the season, like he got interviewed on the field. I forget where they were. They were on the road, but he was kind of getting emotional talking about his time in Washington. So I think that kind of tips his hand, saying like, "Thanks for this, guys. Like I appreciated my time here, but I'm heading out that door."
Right. Now the question is, where the hell does he go?
Where the hell does he go?
Oh no.
I can think of a place.
I can too, but it's not Philly.
This just makes sense because Philly's a young team on the rise, looking for that big bat, hint, hint, and looking for that star power.
Hint, hint.
Yeah, I mean, they've got deep pockets because, oh yeah, past 2022, only Abdul Herrera and Scott Kingery are on the Phillies payroll currently.
Right.
So the Phillies are going to have money to spend. They just got that new Comcast TV deal that's starting to kick in. They have deep pockets. They have the star power. And oh, by the way, they have the young star power. And oh, by the way, Bryce Harper loves hitting in Citizens Bank Park.
I was gonna say, like,
trust me, I've seen him do it. Like, as a fellow NL East fan, like when he comes to Citizens Bank Park, he doesn't miss.
No, at all.
He loves hitting in this ballpark. I think he'll enjoy the opportunity of being in, like, not that DC isn't a big market, but being in that big market, being looked to as like, okay, Bryce, like this is on you now, bud. Like, I think he enjoys the attention. I like his last name a lot. And oh, by the way, he followed Joel Embiid and Reese Hoskins on Instagram, so there's that too. I know there's other destinations that he could go to that
LA.
he would help out. I don't think LA wants to empty out their pockets for him.
I think he will, honestly. I have him going to the Dodgers.
But I think they got to make one of those big trades first. Like, I think at that case, they've got to unload for Real Muto first. But, I mean, yeah, maybe. But, I don't know. I think he wants to get paid, and I think he wants to be the star. Because in LA, it's going to be crowded, but I think he'd welcome Philadelphia.
You know what? How about the Angels?
You know, I was thinking of them as my dark horse team.
But Trout and Harper, that's been the debate for God knows how long. To have them on the same team?
But as a Phillies fan, I've been selectively blocking that out of my mind just because then that means that Mike Trout ain't coming to Philly.
No.
and that's just manifest destiny. Like, he's a South Jersey boy like myself. Like, I think he wants to play in Philadelphia. I hope he wants to play in Philadelphia. But so maybe that reunion or that like uniting happens here. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thinking about the Angels being a dark horse. You got to kick the tires.
I mean, an outfield of Upton, Trout, and Harper. Yeah.
Sign me up. Like,
and that AL West, I mean, you take Seattle out now. But if Oakland can have the same year they had last year, you still have Houston. If you add the Angels to the mix, it's a good division to watch.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up because again, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't thinking about the Angels being the dark horse for Mike Trout. Could you imagine if they come in and they're the mystery team for him like they were for Pujols a few years back?
Oh, I think they'd instantly be like the most hated team ever.
I don't know about that.
I don't think so. I don't know either.
Like, they'd make me a fan. I'd be like, okay, I see you, Angels. I see you.
Josh said, could you imagine the noise if Harper came to the plate in D.C. with a Phillies uniform?
I think they'll cheer him.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I don't have a finger on the pulse of the DC fan base, the Nationals fan base specifically. I don't. I'll admit that. But he put that franchise as the Nationals on the map.
Yeah.
I know Zimmerman helped build that. I get it. But when him and Strasburg got there, they made that place a big deal, man. Mm-hmm. Like, they started a run there that
I was gonna say, like, once they got there, it clicked. And it was
like,
now we're a team to watch.
And yeah, there wasn't success in the postseason, which I'm sorry, I'm gonna laugh at a lot because I think that's funny. But yeah, like I think they'll cheer him. I think he'll get teary-eyed at the plate. I think he'll have a long curtain call. Then maybe after that they boo him, but
he said it would take 20 minutes to clear the trash off the field.
I don't think it's that bad. Maybe
it's not like Cano turning down $170 million to go to Seattle for more.
But even then, like, they welcome Cano with open arms, like.
Though they're gonna welcome him back when they trade him in like the next couple days.
That too, like, you know what I mean. But to me, the writing's just on the wall that he wants to A, contend and B, make money in right. Philadelphia. He's gonna do both, and I get like there's theories of where he could go. Like you mentioned, LA, both LA teams really. There's the Cubs, because, I mean, obviously, he and Chris Bryant are boys. They're both Las Vegas natives. So maybe they reunite there. Although, can we talk about this for, like, as a quick sidebar? Yeah. What do you make of the rumors of the Cubs possibly wanting to trade Chris Bryant? Or being open to it, quote unquote?
I think it's weird. I don't think that should happen at all.
Are they that high on David Bote?
Good old David Bodie. Leave him alone. I'm just kidding.
Hey, man, he hit that walk-off slam. Like,
yeah. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, like, and plus, like, they still have Jason Hayward's albatross of a contract, and they ain't unloading that thing.
Right.
Like, unless they're willing to, like, pay half of his salary, they ain't getting rid of him.
No, not at all.
That's similar to the Ryan Howard contract, man. Like, yeah, like once he signs that deal, unless he's still producing at the level he should have been, good luck getting rid of him.
Yeah.
You know? Like, so but yeah, and like there were rumors too of other places. Like one of the places I saw on like a cut for, I think made like a crime scene. crime scene or like detective search, like pinboard, like seeing like where he would go. One of the places was the Chicago White Sox because they have enough room to pay for both Machado and Harper. And apparently there was a story, I forget how long ago, that someone called on like the marquee lights outside of, is it still US Cellular Field?
It's like guaranteed rate field or something like that.
Yeah. But apparently they flashed his name up on the marquee lights. So people are wondering if there's something there. I don't know. I think that was just maybe them like testing it out and seeing what name they could put up there. Or maybe it was just a thing just to try to make some buzz. Who knows, you know?
Honestly, though, it's not a terrible idea if you're the White Sox.
Yeah, but I mean, you really got to sell that. And if your idea is to go for both Harper and Machado,
you got to make sure, like, your farm system, you have some guys ready to go.
Well, not only that, but you just got to sell the guys Harper and Machado on that too. Like, hey guys, we're not going to compete this year, but trust me, you know,
very, very soon.
And especially because, like we mentioned earlier, like especially with Kopech being out for the year for getting Tommy John, they don't really have a lot of pitching.
No, they don't.
If anything.
And Josh just asked, when will the Sox start producing with all the young talent? But
that's the other $1 million question.
We just mentioned Kopech's down. Giolito hasn't been the same. Reynaldo Lopez is all right, but he's not really anything. Not really much.
Yeah.
And I don't really know if they have. Who are there? Do they have hitting prospects?
I forget who was on the Charlotte Knights this past year.
MLB prospects top 100. Here we go. They have Eloy Jimenez, who's number 3 apparently.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do have Eloy Jimenez.
Who else? Sorry that I'm not all clued into this.
It's the Chicago White Sox. It's okay.
I was going to say, it's the Chicago White Sox. Plus, I just got back from vacation, so my mind is still, like, everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
They have Dylan Cease, who's number 25, and he's a pitcher, a right-handed pitcher. They have Luis Robert, who's number 44, who's an outfielder. They have Nick Madrigal. I've heard of him before. He's a second baseman, shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
Josh mentioned Hansen. I don't see a Hansen. I see Dane Dunning, right-handed pitcher, who I think they got him in the Adam Eaton deal. Which I still think that the Nationals completely overpaid for him, but whatever.
Yeah.
They have Blake Rutherford, who's an outfielder. Okay, so their outfield is set.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of their infield.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's an interesting theory, but again, I think it's either going to be like a Philly or an LA.
It's going to be somewhere with a lot of money.
And again, like, I know, like, it's LA, so they'll find the money, but they've got to do a lot more shuffling around. Philly don't have to worry about shuffling around that money.
No.
They know where it'll go, and it's the number 34 in right field on opening day.
All right.
And, I mean, a lot of people are wondering, too, if MLB kind of already knows that there's going to be a big splash, because, oh, yeah, the Phillies and Braves, their first Sunday game of the year, got flexed to Sunday Night Baseball already. So,
bring to a question, Josh. Oh my God, Josh asked earlier if I can talk.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think wins the NL East?
Good question. I mean,
he said Phillies or Braves, but you can throw the Mets in there if they're actually going to contend.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting because, I mean, especially like if Atlanta continues where they left off, I'll tell you what, man, Acuna is scary good.
Yes, he is.
Scary good.
And if they could add one or two pieces, which they've already added Donaldson and McCann, maybe they get another outfielder, which you mentioned earlier, Michael Brantley.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be, and if they get a closer, which we'll talk about later.
Oh God.
Then I think that they'll be set to win it. But if the Phillies also make moves, they could be set to win it. I don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll see.
That brings me to some 5 rapid fires once again, starting with free agent pitcher Irvin Santana.
Baltimore, I don't know.
Miami. Speaking of Miami, catcher JT Realmuto.
We brought this up earlier, but I think he gets dealt to the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Okay.
Because I don't think they want to pay Yasmani Grandal, and I think they'll be happy unloading Puig and or Bellinger to get him.
Okay. Starting pitcher Matt Harvey, who is a free agent. Thank God. Should stay one.
Is saying Miami too easy?
He'd fit well in Miami. They love partying and he loves drinking. So there we go. You don't have to answer. We could skip to the next one.
Wherever he ends up, I'll laugh.
All right. Gio Gonzalez.
This is an interesting one.
I've heard him linked to the Mets. I don't see it.
As a trade candidate, or is he a free agent?
He's a free agent.
Damn, the Nats are losing everybody.
But they didn't have him. Nats traded him. He was on the Brewers.
Oh yeah, that's right. That did happen. Wait, seriously?
Yeah, and then he got injured in the playoffs, so he really didn't do anything in the playoffs. Completely stumped you right now.
Yeah. Toronto, next question.
All right. And trade candidate, apparently, outfielder Billy Hamilton. Philly.
I don't think it'll happen, but I wouldn't hate it, man. That speed at the top of your lineup. I mean, I know he has problems with his offense, but goddamn, man, you can't teach speed.
As the old saying goes, you can't steal first. Anyway. So let's get to our final round of...
But you could steal second, third, and home.
Correct. Let's get to our final round of big names, if you call them that. Let's start with utility man Marwin Gonzalez.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, you and I talked before we went on air about the possibility of him going to Philly. Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, it's kind of in the Carlos Santana category of, okay, I wouldn't hate it, but I don't know how exactly he would fit. I was considering the Cubs, but then I remembered the Cubs acquired Ronald Torreyes today.
And they bought Ben Zobrist for another year, I think.
And outstanding citizen Addison Russell.
Oh, man. he's just...
Which, by the way, that shouldn't be funny. That isn't funny, but...
It's not funny. The way you described it was hilarious. Yeah.
Anyway. But yeah, I'm curious because, I mean, Marwin Gonzalez is good at a lot of positions, and he can hit, so...
I could see him on the Twins. I think the article I read earlier said the Twins. Yeah. I could see it going to the Twins. I can actually see him going to the Brewers.
Maybe, yeah.
But yeah, he's just another guy that I don't have a spot for him. And that'll become a theme when we get to the relievers in a few minutes.
Yeah. Maybe you can go to like the Angels, because I mean, like, you could use him at second, you could use him at third, you could use him as a corner outfielder.
You can use him at first.
Yeah.
DH Nelson Cruz. Houston Astros.
I mean,
he would absolutely annihilate that left field in that park.
I agree. I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't know, because again, Tyler White got hot towards the end of the year, so I think they want to see what he's made of as a DH.
Mm.
So I think they really want to give him a go and trust themselves a little bit with their prospects. Be like, okay, like, yeah, go for it. Maybe he kind of like we predicted with Mike Moustakas goes to somewhere that's not really a contender and makes himself trade worthy.
Because wasn't he an Oriole one year?
I was gonna say maybe he goes back to Baltimore because remember he signed that 1-year deal in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was after he got caught with steroids, but
Shh, we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Astros, if not them, I don't know.
Yeah.
So now we have a little bit of a call to the bullpen and go to all our wonderful relievers.
Joy.
And there were plenty of relievers on the article that I read earlier, but I narrowed it down to 5. The biggest 5, in my opinion.
I only have homes for 2 of them. Spoiler alert.
Okay. Let's start with Cody Allen.
I don't see Cody Allen leaving Cleveland.
I don't have a spot for him.
Because I think they still want to contend. I think he solidified himself as that 9th inning guy. So, I mean, keep him there. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, it can't hurt to just say, hey, you want to still be our closer, you know?
Yeah. I don't have a spot for him. Like we said earlier, relievers can go anywhere.
Yeah, and they could be paid any amount.
Exactly. I do have a spot for Andrew Miller.
So do I.
Boston Red Sox. Reunion.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Because I believe he started there, and he wasn't the pitcher he is now.
Yeah.
Why not get him now?
That's true, and especially if Kimbrel leaves, then maybe you could try him as your traditional 9th inning closer. I mean, he's been used more as kind of the ultimate bullpen weapon, you know? He can give you a few innings. He can be a quote-unquote lefty specialist. Like, he could be used really anywhere at any time, and he'll be happy with it. And when he's healthy, he can go an inning or 2 if you really need him to. So, yeah, I could see that. Or I could see this place.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, since he's been used as that, like, ultimate reliever, like, he's not really, like, a closer, so, you know what I mean? I mean, look at the way Gabe Kapler managed his bullpen last year.
Yeah.
So, I think Andrew Miller, like, as weird as it sounds to say that Gabe Kapler had a mold, I think Andrew Miller can fit that mold of just being, A, he's a lefty out of the pen, and B, all the things I just said, he's a lefty out of the pen, who, when he's healthy, can give you a couple innings if you need him to. Trust his stuff. And again, like, he's a much more mature pitcher now who knows what he is, knows he isn't that flame-throwing Aroldis Chapman. So I think if the Phillies were to go after Andrew Miller and add him as a bullpen piece, he doesn't have to be the closer. Like, you could still use Sir Anthony Dominguez, because I think that kid has a future. But this way here, like, you can make the path to Sir Anthony Dominguez a little easier.
Okay. Kelvin Herrera.
Like I told you, the last 3 I don't have homes for, so...
Right, fair enough. Zach Britton.
This is another one that was kind of linked to the Phillies. He's another lefty out of the pen. But he scares me, though, with injuries more than Andrew Miller does. Because he didn't really fare that great in New York.
No, he couldn't pitch in New York.
So...
Which is funny, because I actually have him going to the Mets.
Well, let's put it this way. He couldn't pitch for the Yankees.
No, not at all.
I don't think he's ever... I shouldn't say that, because maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know if he'll ever be back to being Zach Britton. You know what I mean?
I don't think so either.
When he was just a dynamo for the Orioles, when he came in during their playoff runs, and you're like, oh no, we have to face Zach Britton. Now it's okay, we have to face Zach Britton. You know,
like, it wasn't he perfect in save opportunities that one year?
Close to it.
And then the next year he was injured.
Yeah.
That injury really affected him, and the move to New York definitely did too.
Yeah.
I don't think he can handle New York, so let's put him on the Mets. um, and finally, one of the 3 relievers that I had a home for, Craig Kimbrell.
I know you teased it earlier. Tell me why he's going back to Atlanta.
Well, they need a closer. Their bullpen was pretty solid last year. It wasn't.
I was gonna say, wasn't Vizcaíno a good closer for them?
He wasn't. They didn't really close. He didn't really close that much.
Huh.
They kind of alternated closers because I think Vizcaíno was hurt for a little bit.
Yeah.
So they never had like a set closer,
Mm-hmm.
but they've had solid bullpen pieces, which it's been a while since they've had that, and last year they did. So putting a Craig Kimbrell at the back end of the bullpen, now you've solidified, okay, we have a bullpen. We're good to go. Watch out for us. And
yeah,
perfect guy to do it is Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah, I mean, you make all solid points, like, I don't know if obviously it would be going home because obviously he came up there, but, it's a little different considering, like GM, like, Alex Anthopoulos is in charge there now, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, different GM, different manager, like, obviously Bobby Cox ain't there anymore,
Yeah.
So, it'd be interesting to see if he decides to go that route despite the fact that there's been changes. Like, it's a new ballpark, They got rid of Turner Field for some reason. So, because I don't know how I feel about SunTrust Park, but whatever.
Yeah.
I could see it. I don't think the Red Sox want to spend the money to keep him because they got Joe Kelly, baby.
He's a free agent.
Is he really?
And he was actually part of my rapid fire. We'll get to him in a few seconds.
Well, spoiler, I think he stays in Boston.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't think the Red Sox want to spend the money on Craig Kimbrell, so I don't know where he'd go because he's gonna want to close as he should. So like you could throw LA out the window. Well, the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if the Angels were like, hey, we're getting Harper, we're getting Craig Kimbrell, we're getting Patrick Corbin, like
us. They already have Mike Trout. Build around him.
Yeah.
They have Andrelton Simmons, so they're covered at short.
Simba.
Yeah. I forgot who their third baseman was.
I have their depth chart. Hold on.
Well, they need one of them.
Zach Cozart.
Oh, yeah, they need one of them.
They currently have Zach Cozart listed as the second baseman and the third baseman.
Good God. Well, their second baseman was Kinsler, but they traded him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see them doing that too.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be hilarious. The Angels just came out of nowhere.
They've done it before.
This is true. Final round of rapid fire, and then we'll wrap it up. First of all, thank you to our 3 viewers. We actually had 3 viewers today.
Uh-huh.
And 2 of them we know already, Jake and Josh. Thanks. The third one we don't know. But yeah. Thank you anyway.
I don't know if my girlfriend's bored enough to watch me talk about baseball for hours.
So you've already said Joe Kelly. That was my first one. Next one is Adam Ottavino.
I wouldn't hate Adam Ottavino in the Phillies bullpen because, he may not get the praise and all, but that guy can throw the baseball, man. He's always been an under the radar good relief pitcher for the past couple years now. So I'd be happy if the Phillies added him to the bullpen. I don't know if that's where he'll end up because, again, relievers could go anywhere. But if he got added to the Phillies bullpen, I'd approve.
Speaking of relievers can go anywhere, Joakim Soria.
I didn't know Joaquin Soria was still in the league.
Yeah, he is.
Kansas City.
When in doubt. And then finally, 2 trade targets, apparently. and one of them is pretty recent. In fact, his name actually popped up a couple of days ago. But the first one is Zach Greinke. Do you think he gets moved?
It depends on if there's a team out there that wants to take on his contract. Because he signed there because they were like, they were like, all right, Zach, we're going to be on the verge of contending. You were great in LA. Stay here on the West. And he's like, okay. And then they just kind of they had promise, and then they fell back, and then they had promise, and then they fell back, So it was such a seesaw of back and forth. And I remember a few weeks back, and I think I meant to actually talk to you about this. I remember seeing on a random episode of MLB Tonight, I think it was Dave Valley and other people were saying, honestly, look out for the D-backs to kind of be sellers, just to be you know what, maybe we're on the verge, but at this point, with guys in top value, we've got to sell, just to kind of re-energize and recharge a little bit. And I mean, you could sell Goldschmidt really at any point, and you'd be selling at top value. And Zach Greinke, when he's on, is one of the best pitchers in baseball. So, yeah, so maybe you do sell them off, Maybe you do sell or try to sell those pieces to, again, recharge your system a little bit.
And then finally, the guy I mentioned that just came up a few short days ago, might have even been yesterday, Madison Bumgarner. I don't see him getting moved yet.
Well, one, keep him away from any dirt bike tracks.
Correct. So that eliminates Texas or anything anywhere in the South.
Dude, anywhere has a dirt bike track.
I know, I was kidding.
I know the Phillies again, the Phillies have been linked to everybody. I don't know how I'd feel about trading for Madison Bumgarner. I mean, I'd love to watch him bat, #pitchers who rake, but, and I mean, he could hit if he can hit in San Francisco, he can hit in Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah.
That's stating the obvious. It's interesting, man, this offseason is going to be so weird.
It is.
Subtle pieces have been starting to fall into place, but once especially around the time of the winter meetings, whoa, Nelly, is all hell gonna break loose.
And not just Nelly Cruz.
Yeah. So I mean, God bless the beat writers, the Ken Rosenthals, the JP Morosi's, John Heyman's, Joel Sherman's, all the Buster Olney, Tim Kerr-Jerkin, because those guys are gonna especially when it gets to the winter meetings, those guys are gonna have long nights, and it ain't because they're spending all night at the blackjack table. Actually, well,
that Twitter.
That's a lie. It might be because they're spending all night at the blackjack table, but
in Vegas.
I mean, yeah, it is Vegas, baby. Having been there, that place runs 24/7. There's no stop. All the casinos go. So I mean, hell, it could be the GMs at a literal and figurative poker table, just seeing who blinks, man. It's gonna be a crazy time. Oh, before we go, since we're still talking about rumors, what do you think of the rumors that apparently the Yankees are open, quote unquote, to trading Giancarlo Stanton?
I didn't hear those rumors.
It happened. There was at least a rumor. I mean, and again, it's a rumor, so who knows if anything comes of it. And surprise, surprise, he was linked to the Phillies, but
I think eventually that'll happen. But
I do too.
It's going to be a while down the road, though.
Yeah.
But you have anything else?
My head's just spinning thinking of all these teams and all these players available.
This is going to be a fun offseason. A weird one, but a fun one.
Yeah, I mean, because once that first wave comes, it ain't going to stop.
Not at all.
And then by that point, we'll be at February.
Yeah. Spring training, baby.
Pretty much, man.
But that about wraps us up. Like I said earlier, If you liked this video, leave a like. If you don't, leave a dislike. If you want to have your voice heard, leave a comment. And if you want others knowing about us, then please share this video along with all the other ones. And if you want to watch more content on this channel, I have plenty of content available, Q&As, podcasts, commentaries, whatever the case may be, it's there. We have more stuff coming up, a new trivia podcast that I'll be talking about in the Q&A in the next couple of days, so be on the lookout for that. But it's Tyler Harper. I'm Matt from Unlimited. You've watched the Unlimited podcast.